Good cup of coffee. Okay, today we're talking with Ancestry, FamilySearch, MyHeritage, and Estate Archive to help us get an understanding of what happens to our accounts when we pass away. What happens to all of that genealogy that we have worked so hard to collect, to research, to preserve. We want to preserve this for the future, right? What do we do with this stuff? So we're going to talk about all of that today. Coming up, don't hang up on this video. I know it may be an uncomfortable conversation, but it's important. So let's talk about that coming up next. Welcome back to another episode on Genealogy TV. I'm so glad you're here. This is really an important subject, and I hope you'll stick around. I have asked Ancestry, thank you, Crista Cowan, for doing this. I have asked FamilySearch. Ed Donakey has given us a clip. And Daniel Horowitz over there at MyHeritage also produced short little clips for for all of those services. I know I'm on all of them, but you know, depending on what you've got going on, you can watch that clip. They will give us some information about what happens to our account when we pass away. But here's what you need to know. I asked the same questions of all the companies. And I also asked a little bit different questions of the North Carolina State Archivist. She's kind of representing all state archives for us. And I asked her, you know, what happens to some of our family heirlooms? What can we donate to archives? What can we donate where? So we'll talk more about that here in a little bit. But here's the questions I asked of the three companies, Ancestry, FamilySearch, and MyHeritage. I said, what happens? How can we ensure that our family history and all the years of work that went into building it will be available for future generations after we're gone? I know this is an uncomfortable situation. Nobody wants to really talk about it, but there's a reason why I got to thinking about this, and I'll tell you, well, I'll tell you right now. So unfortunately, last year I lost my husband, and I don't really talk about that very often. But as you know, when you're going through someone's estate and you're starting to kind of pull their life apart, right? And, you know, this artifact or this family heirloom's going over here, and I'm going to give this piece to, you know, his sister or whatever. And you start handing out bits and pieces of their life. It really got me thinking, because we have a lifetime of stuff, first of all. And I'm not talking about monetary stuff. I'm talking about the family heirlooms that I have collected, the family Bibles, the incredible amount of research notes that I have written, all the accounts online. What happens to all this genealogy stuff when we pass away? Well, I don't want to stick that with my daughter. I want to start planning this in advance, long before. I'm not going anywhere, people. So, but long before we go, it would be helpful to them to kind of know what our wishes are. And so one of the things I recommend, by the way, first is to talk to your family, find out what they want. I know my mother-in-law used to run around and put her names of different people on the back of things, like the antique clock, she would put somebody's name on, and, you know, I mean, all these different little things. And she had been planning it for years in advance. And I think at first the family kind of laughed, but then they kind of go, yeah, this makes sense. And, you know, and then the kids are kind of fighting for it. Before she even was gone, they were kind of going, oh, I want to put my name on that, you know? And so, you know, you can make light of it and have fun with it. But it really is kind of a serious subject. So here's some of the other questions I asked them. And thank you to Crista Cowan, Ed Donakey, and Daniel Horowitz for giving me the answers to these. And I'll share these clips with you here in a minute. But one of the other questions I asked is, should we put our desires in a will? And if we don't have a will, what happens to our account or the registration of our account when we pass away? One of the questions I asked is, can we assign someone now as a benefactor to your platform? Will they have to pay for the service if I do? And if I stop paying for my subscription, will the tree remain for others to see? And then the last question I asked was, what kind of items, this was really for the North Carolina State Archives, who was representing all archives, what kind of items do you guys take as donations? And so with all of that in mind, I'm going to share those clips with you now. And we're going to start with Crista Cowan, then we're going to go to FamilySearch, and then we're going to go to MyHeritage. And then lastly, we're going to talk with the archivist as she gives us some idea what to do with those artifacts. I'm going to put a timeline across the bottom of the screen for you so you can see exactly how much time is left in each segment. I think that will be helpful for you. And then, let's just jump into it. I think you're gonna get something out of this. So stick around.
Hi everyone, Crista Cowan here. Some of you may know me as the Barefoot Genealogist from my Ancestry YouTube series by the same name. I'm here today to answer some questions from Genealogy TV. Let's start by talking about your Ancestry online family tree. At Ancestry, anyone can build a family tree. It's a completely free part of our service. When you first build your tree, you're given the option to make your tree either public or private, and you can change that setting at any time. On Ancestry, a public family tree simply means that anyone with an Ancestry subscription can discover through search and find your tree. They cannot edit it or change it in any way, and they can only see information about the deceased people in your family tree. When you pass away, your family tree on Ancestry remains at the privacy setting it was at when you last updated it. One of the things that you can do now is to share your family tree with as many family members as possible. It is completely free to do so. They simply need to sign up for a free registered guest account on Ancestry, and then they will be able to access your family tree through their own login information. There are 3 levels of permission that you can give to an individual that you share your tree with. You can invite them as a guest, which simply means they can view the information in your tree just like any Ancestry subscriber. The minor difference is, of course, that you can also give them permission to see the information about the living people. The second level of permission is as a contributor, which means they can upload or add information to the tree. And the third level of permission is as an editor, which means they can do anything in your tree that you can do, including edit, change, or delete information. Sharing your family tree in this manner ensures that your family continues to have access to the years of family history research once you're gone. Another thing to consider is if you have taken an AncestryDNA test, or if you administer other tests for deceased family members. Much like family trees, you can also share your DNA results with other members of your family, and there's no need for them to have an Ancestry subscription in order to access those results. You can give them viewer, collaborator, or manager access to those tests so that they can continue to see the results, see any updates that come in, and maybe even pick up the work where you left off. Even with all of the sharing capabilities on Ancestry with both family trees and DNA, I strongly encourage everyone to leave their Ancestry username and password updated regularly with their estate papers. So when you pass, your executor will find that information and be able to log into your account. That allows them to change the billing information on your account if you have a current subscription. It allows them to update your account with their email address or the email address of the family member who will be taking over that account. And that allows them to continue to access the information in that original account instead of just using the information that is shared out with them on their own accounts. That'll make it a lot easier for them, and hopefully they will be able to continue your legacy.
Hey, we're going to get back to that video here in just a moment, but I want to let you know that Genealogy TV has a website, a newsletter, and a Facebook page. Links for all of that are in the show notes below. All right, let's get back to it.
Hi there, I'm Ed Donakey with the FamilySearch Chief Genealogical Office. We've had some wonderful questions posed about what happens after a genealogist or a family historian passes away. Well, the first question was, what can we do to ensure that our family history and all the years of work that went into building it will be available for future generations after we're gone? FamilySearch is designed by default with the tree being an open edit environment, so that when I include records and data up there and my conclusions are there within FamilySearch, someone can come by after me and make adjustments to that based on data, based on knowledge, based on journals and other information there. So there's value in the records continuing to grow and develop after I'm gone. Correspondingly, I can also upload a GedCom file with a solid state view of the records at a given state of time and include those in the FamilySearch Pedigree resource file. And those records are not going to be changed. So I've got the opportunity to know that I can both include records that I want to see continue to grow and develop and be added upon, and also have some that are just solid, that are not going to be modified. We were asked, so can we put our desires in our wills? Can we assign an executor to our accounts there? And FamilySearch has designed the system so that there are expectations. And the expectation in going into the tree as a live dynamic document are that it's potential that there will be changes made. And on the other side of the house, with regards to the Pedigree resource file, it's expected that there will not be changes made, so that we don't have to worry about exact wording in a will or another document with regards to that. And as far as there being an executor or somebody of that nature, it's also been set up so that if I become incapacitated, if I pass away, then records such as memories and other areas that I've uploaded that I've marked as private would remain private, or other items that I've been entering information in with regards to the memories portion, my account will no longer be able to make modifications there. So we're trying to work with the individual and their potential estate to show what was done during my lifetime as opposed to afterwards, where no changes could be made by me, but yet others could include memories on the same photos or the same documents or others. And then it was asked, can someone take over my account? FamilySearch is designed so that an account cannot be taken over unless information is passed on, unless a password or a user ID is passed on. So the idea is there that we want to do all we can to secure and protect that data and not have it just simply modified at will by somebody that's going in and using information inappropriately. So just to let you know, FamilySearch has written a number of articles about this. Our employees, our volunteers, our missionaries, and others that are available within the FamilySearch Wiki, within the FamilySearch Health System. And then we also have the volunteers, the missionaries, the staff at the Family History Library, at the local Family History Centers, at the FamilySearch Support telephone line. And we'll do what we can to answer your questions and facilitate FamilySearch working for you as a repository of choice to make sure that your records can be stored and protected there within our system. So thanks for your time, and I hope this is helpful. Bye now.
Hello, Connie, and thank you for the opportunity. One of the things we can do to ensure that our family history and all the years that we have been dedicating to research will preserved and will be getting to our descendants and rest of the family members will be to invite them to the website. In that way, they can not only today receive emails and notifications about what's going on, but also after the user or after we departure to the next world, they will be able to take control of the current website. And there are many ways to do that on MyHeritage. One of the ways, and the most common one, is just for the user to ask through our support department that the owner or creator of the website passed away. We have some questions and verifications to make sure that this is true and that the person who is approaching us really has access to the website and was invited by the person according to our records. And then we simply transfer the ownership of the website, the tree, and all the research to whoever asked for it. Now, by inviting other family members, we will be able at some point also to allow them to administrate a website or even to download the research and use it on their own. Now, there is no need to do a will, although it's always a good idea to do so. But if it's in the will and the person sends a copy of it to MyHeritage, of course, MyHeritage will honor that. Now, the other person will not need to pay anything extra. Whatever it's paid will continue to be paid until the time that that subscription ends. And the person who takes ownership of the website can decide what to do with it next. If there is no will, or if there is no other family member who will want to claim that website, the tree and all the research will remain exactly as the owner left it at before he passed away, and it will remain like that forever. MyHeritage do not delete websites or family trees, even if the person maybe didn't pass away, but for many, many years don't want to pay or is not active on MyHeritage. So basically, with MyHeritage, you know your family tree and your research will be saved forever. And hopefully, generations to come would like to keep on working on it and collaborating together.
Thank you, Crista, Daniel, and Ed for supplying us with those clips. I really do appreciate it. Now we're going to jump over to the North Carolina State Archives. I happened to be there for a conference and was interviewing Sarah Kuntz, who is the head archivist for the state of North Carolina. I was interviewing her for a different video on my North Carolina channel. And so what I did while I was there was I asked her, because I was working on this video as well, I asked her, what can we do? What kind of things do state archives in general, or archives in general, what do they take for donations? So we're going to talk about that. And keep in mind, I'm sorry, we were wearing masks. It was the law at the time that we recorded the video that we wear a mask indoors at the archives. So we're gonna jump over there right now.
So the archives is going to be interested in original materials that talk about the history of our state. So that might be letters, it might be journals, business records, photographs, motion pictures, things like that from your family, military records. Those are all the sorts of things that we would be interested in. If you have compiled genealogical files, you might try the state library. You might try your local library system if they have a county history room. That's another good place to look. You might check to see if your local university also collects that. I would definitely suggest that you not just discard all the years of work because that's like gold to other people that they can connect to research that you have done. But think of us for original materials and more compiled research files, maybe the state library or a local library, local historical society.
Thank you to everybody who contributed to that video. Thank you so much. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so that you get notified next time I upload a video. And well, there are more videos on the screen for your binge watching pleasure, so we'll see you in the next video.